you're on board.
What I'm saying is that I don't know if the commission is doing the testing. I cannot confirm that they're doing the testing because no one's tested positive for anything, which is weird. And they don't release the drug test results. They don't release the fighter payroll. They don't release the drug test results. And when they're asked, oh, well, how come no one's tested positive? Their response is, well, our athletes are all to the highest standards, so that's why. It's because our athletes are all clean. I don't believe that. I'm sure that most athletes are clean. I don't know if George St-Pierre's on anything. I don't think he's on anything. I don't think Nick's on anything. You know, I'm not trying to point fingers at anyone. I'm looking at the Athletic Commission and questioning their testing methods, questioning whether they do the tests. It's, you know, it's definitely a problem.
The testing protocol was hilarious.
Okay. That's another issue, right? Tell us about that. Now, there's an issue with Nick and your side about the drug test.
He thought it was funny because you know, if he had wanted to smuggle something in there, some foreign sample, it would have been, they had none of the protective protocols used in like California or Nevada to prevent that. And so he was laughing that it would have been so easy to do that. So, but you know, not that it would have been necessary for George to do if they don't test anyway.
And that's the question. It's definitely a question. I'll tell you what, Jonathan, I actually asked Dana White after the press conference, after the famous Wolf Tickets press conference that we had here the Thursday before the fight. Dana White did a scrum, and I asked him about the Athletic Commission, and I asked him about drug testing here, and I'd like to play this for you and hear your response.
And are you aware that no one's ever tested positive in mixed martial arts here in Quebec for anything?
No, I wasn't aware of that.
What do you think of that? I mean, you've done.
I think it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Hallelujah! Thank God.
How did Matt Riddle manage to pass a drug test here? He wasn't in Calgary, and then he wasn't in his next fight, but here he was fine.
Matt Riddle's fought in a ton of fights in the UFC.
Right, but in that 3-fight stretch where he tested positive twice.
How do you want me to answer this fucking question? How the fuck do I know the answer to that question?
Isn't that weird? Do you think it's weird at all that no one in the history of the UFC here has ever tested positive for anything?
Yeah, I don't know.
You question the commission?
No. Oh, you think I'm going to sit here and question the commission? Don't be a dick.
So there it is, Jonathan. I mean, I was asking these questions before the fight.
That was a great answer that he provided. He couldn't have given any other answer in the circumstances.
Right. I mean, what's he going to do as a promoter? He needs a license, right?
But look, he's already cued to the public by saying that George's next fight is not going to be in Montreal. Like, it's almost as if he doesn't want to, get into the specifics, but it seems like he noted something off with this commission.
Yeah, I mean, UFC 97 in Montreal here was almost canceled by the Athletic Commission because they said MMA was illegal when UFC 83 had already happened here. That's the kind of Athletic Commission we're dealing with. They said the sport was illegal when we already had several events occurring here for years, but they were threatening to cancel UFC 97.
Still illegal.
Of course.
Boxing is not.
It's still illegal. Once the fight hits the ground, technically, by the rules in Quebec, you're supposed to stand it up. There's supposed to be no jiu-jitsu at all in MMA here.
Isn't there standing? Isn't there an 8 count if there's a knockdown as well?
Yeah, that's true as well. It's technically called mixed boxing. It's not really. There are no real regulations here for mixed martial arts.
Bizarre attempt to draft around the criminal code prohibition. Like someone was too clever by a half to try to make this into some form of boxing. But it's a sport that doesn't exist. No, there's no mixed boxing anywhere as far as I know.
No, it's ludicrous. It's ridiculous.
Okay.
And that's why I appreciate what you guys are doing, because you're shining a light across the MMA world and across the sporting world on how inept this commission can be at times. And I'll tell you, as somebody who has followed this sport and lived in this province for a long time, I know the problems with the commission, and now everybody else knows the problems with the commission.
Yeah, but look, and remember the press conference, Nick referred to himself as a superhero bringing the anti-bullshit.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this is here. shedding some light on something, shedding some truth where it's being concealed for too long. That's what Nick's about.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate that part of it. And now you guys are looking for what at this point? A rematch?
Yep.